All right, welcome everybody. My name is Matt Young with the Meeks Mountain Trail Alliance and MTA, and we're the folks that are bringing you the first ever Hurricane 100K. It's a solo run and a relay with $7,500 worth of prize money, and we have that coming up to you, for you on September 10th, 2022. It's all made possible by a host of local sponsors, including the City of Hurricane and our friends from Little Caesars Pizza, and we're so excited to have that coming. And we're especially excited today to have HollyAnn Swann here with us. She is one of the runners that has already signed up. She's locked and loaded and getting ready for this race coming up here several months. We're going to talk to her today. Excited to do this. Now, I'm going to introduce HollyAnn to you. She is 26 years old. She is a toxicology lab manager, originally from Blountsville, Alabama. Currently makes her home in Huntington, West Virginia. She ran for 4 years of cross country at Auburn University, Montgomery, and then 1 year at Marshall University in both indoor and outdoor track and field. She's a current record holder of all distances at Auburn, Montgomery, and the Marshall University track and field record holder at the 5K, 10K, and the distance medley relay distances. She's also the 2021 women's champion at the West Virginia's Rim to River 100 miler. Smoking fast, 19 hours and 37 seconds, where she was fourth overall and was an hour and 40 minutes ahead of the next closest lady. Plus, she's also the inaugural Cabin Fever 50K women's champ in a time of 4:17. She was seventh overall in a very competitive field. She's sponsored by the Trails Collective Elite, Rabbit Running, Noon Hydration, and Coro's Global Explorers team. And again, I said she is signed up. She's locked, loaded, and ready for the first ever 100K on September 10th. So welcome, HollyAnn. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
2020 was the first time I'd ever heard of you, and it was leading up to Rim to River. And I knew that there was this documentary movie coming out, and that they were going to document West Virginia's first ever 100 miler, and that you and Caleb Bowen were two of the athletes that they were going to be highlighting for this. And so I interviewed you and tracked you along the way. And so that was a big deal, especially for the state having its first 100 miler. I was also at the finish line that day. And that finish line is a downhill finish. And I remember seeing you come down the hill to that finish. And it was hard. It was hard. You went into that race with an injury. And there's nothing like 100 miles to bring out an injury if you have something latent in there. And that certainly happened for you. I know it was disappointing for you that you were hours over what you expected, probably 7 or 8 hours over what you expected to be. But I also thought, what an awesome thing to be that hurt and that hobbled and still made yourself finish and will to the race. Now, then you came back in 2021. You got well, healed, and came back and ran that 19 hours and 37 seconds, which was incredibly fast to be the fourth overall. How did it feel for an experience like 2020 to come back with a redemption run like that in 2021?
It was absolutely amazing, especially like having the thought of 2020 race in my mind the entire year, and it was just the top of my goal list to come back and make 2021 just so much better. And so it was a lot sweeter victory just from where I came from than having how 2021 played out be my first race, just coming from the ashes, basically.
Did you think that 19 hours was possible for you? Was that a goal? What kind of a goal time did you have coming into it?
Top of the line 8 goal was sub 20. So I was hoping for that, but didn't really know that it was truly there or not until, even closer to the end of the race. I still was kind of in shock that that was still within reach.
Yeah, and a lot can happen in 100 miles, and to pull it together and have it all come, because you really weren't that far off of Caleb's time in 2020, which was in 18 hours and change. So that was it was quite impressive to see you do that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so the other one is the Cabin Fever, the very first, the inaugural race, and you were the women's champ for that and seventh overall and ran that in 4:17. And that was a very competitive field. And so my question for you is, knowing that you've got those times in you, do you just sit back and dream about running these races and winning them outright and smoking all the boys? Does that ever cross your mind?
That is definitely in my mind while I'm training a lot. Whenever I do set my goals, it's fantastic to be in the top 3 or top 5 for women. But I definitely like to look at things from an overall perspective. Usually my top goals are placing within the top 5 overall or top 10, whether that's men or women.
Yeah. You certainly have the potential. I hope to see you do it someday too. And it's not going to, especially you're on the up and coming too, so you've got plenty of time to get ready for it. So what is it, looking at this in the 100K distance, we were talking before we came on camera, you've actually got another 100K coming up. Tell us a bit about that race and what got you into that one too.
Definitely. So April 2nd, I'll be doing my first 100K. It's Gorge Waterfalls. And this will be my first ever West Coast trail run. And I have one of my connections is with one of my sponsors is Speedland, and they're a shoe company. And this is one of the races that they're sponsoring. And he just said, we'd love to see you in our neck of the woods. And I haven't really ran a super competitive race. And this race is going to be competitive. So I'm excited to see how that all plays out while I'm out there. But I guess the 100K distance is alluring because it's something that I haven't tried before. And I know in Rim to River this past year, I think that 62-mile mark is about where, things started to really hurt. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious what I can do at 62.
Yeah. So you'll have crew for this race too? You mentioned your husband will be out there to help you with it too?
Yeah, definitely. My husband's going to travel with me to Oregon.
Awesome. Well, for our 100K here at the Hurricane 100K, it is a loop course. And so one of the things, and I've done loop courses, and I really like them because you get to come back, you get to see your crew, you have everything that's consistent with it too. So have you already started to assemble your crew for this race coming up?
Having this race so close to home is going to be really exciting because Huntington has this phenomenal trail community and trail family. And so I feel like I'll have my own crew without even asking anyone because it's going to bring in a lot of our friends here in town for sure.
Yeah, we're trying to set it up to where you have that too. So it's it's in this bowl area, and so there'll be a crew and family area there too, and a lot of good things happening. Again, they get to see you. Six loops, I get to see it 5 different times by the sport, and then also areas out on the course too. So how do you get ready for a race like this? And when I say get ready, whether it's the Gorge Waterfall or the Hurricane 100K that's going to be competitive, we've got something on the line, whether it's prize money or just because it's so competitive physically, but even more mentally. How do you get your head into that?
I think the number one most important thing when gearing up for such a long distance like this is just to make sure that I'm getting those days out on the trail and spending hours on the trail just to make sure that I'm there mentally and know what to expect when I'm out there racing. So we definitely try to get at least one trail run a week. Typically it's our long run, and just kind of like slowly build up the mileage leading up to the race, but also kind of how we gear the training leading up to 100K or a 50 miler even is we'll pick out shorter I say shorter trail runs, but 50K is still an ultra. And we'll sprinkle those into our training just to get that speed and endurance under the belt as well. So cabin fever was like the perfect race to throw into my training leading up to this 100K.
Yeah, right. So did you run it like a training run, or did you run it all out like you were out to win it?
I definitely did my best in running it all out. But
yeah.
I didn't really taper for the 50K, but I did give it my best.
That's a great feeling. You had a lot of a lot of folks that you knew too, a lot of good local people. We've got Huntington is an up and coming fast trail community. It's amazing to see the talent that's coming out of there, and hopefully we'll bring some recognition to the state of West Virginia too, as you all not just here regionally but are traveling all over the country to go and race. So that's a pretty cool thing to do. So Saturday, May 28th, we're having a course preview and training run here for the 100K. Love to see you come out for that too. Have you been on our trails yet up at Meeks Mountain?
Absolutely. I think about 3 weekends ago, I did 22 miles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you have a favorite trail while you were up there?
I definitely liked all the blue and yellow ones. So I'm not sure if I had a favorite one on blue and yellow, but they were my favorite.
Yeah. Were you out with a crew then? Running with
No, but it was a solo run.
Oh, wow. So you found your way around okay then?
I did.
Awesome. Well, good. It's like what we like to hear too. So, we talked too before we came on that you are originally from Alabama, but tell us, after being here in West Virginia, kind of what made you stay, and then we'll talk a bit about your work too.
Yeah, definitely. So coming to Marshall, I came to Marshall University to obtain my graduate degree in forensic science. So that program was 2 years. But while I've been here, I've found some of the closest friends I've ever had. I've just felt the most at home. I felt like I had the most support. Like even within my program, all my professors were supportive. Everyone I've met has been super supportive. And I've just finally feel like I'm in my community, that I'm where I'm supposed to be. So after graduation, I definitely felt super attached to West Virginia and really wanted to make this my home if I could. And so I started applying for jobs around the area, and thankfully it all worked out for me to be here. And this will be my 5th year in West Virginia. Yeah.
So, we talked to about the lab that you started, which is really cool. West Virginia, we're trying to use the trails as both an economic and wellness driver, and you did the same thing with the lab that you started too. So tell us about how that got going and the business that was going out of state, and why you did it to try and keep all that business in state for West Virginians.
Yeah, the position that I found, I got to help be a part of a team that opened a clinical toxicology lab here in West Virginia. And prior to our lab that was open August of 2019, all samples, all clinical tox samples were going out of state. And so the goal was to help open this clinical toxicology lab, start to grow, and hopefully eventually service the entire state so we can bring all that money back into the economy. The West Virginia desperately needs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing. I always tell people too, I said, talk about West Virginia, especially if our young people want to leave. So if our young people leave, how in the world are we going to grow and make this place better? So if you have a concern, then stay here and do something about it. And so even for somebody that's not originally from West Virginia, I thank you for doing that. And so excited. I tell you, we're super excited to have you here for the Hurricane 100K. I'm grateful that you signed up. Tell other people about it. Get out. We need some competition for you. And we need some competition of the ladies to come out and run against you for this thing. Going to do well, and happy for you too. So anything else that you want to add into this too, or any other questions?
No, I'm just really excited that you guys organized this and excited to get people hopefully from out of state to see our beautiful the beautiful state of West Virginia and beautiful trails and everything that we have to offer here. So I really appreciate you guys organizing this.
Yeah, I hope that they're going to find, everybody that comes in from out of state is going to find the same thing that you did, and coming in from Alabama, is that you're welcome, that you're appreciated, that you're loved, and we're all going to have a good time doing this. So for everybody else listening and watching, thank you, HollyAnn, for spending the time here with us. Glad that you're going to be running with us. And also from Meeks Mountain Trail Alliance and the Hurricane 100K, we'll see you on September 10th on behalf of our events team with Ashley, Brandon, Hager, Stewarts, Robert, and Vanessa. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon.